Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. I am Courtney. Good afternoon. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Got to stick with my, tried and true. Pardon me. Hey, thank you for catching up, for tuning in. If you found me, I would love to know what you're listening to me on. Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple. How did you find me? I would love for everybody to email if they would like something if they have something to share. Ramblings of an Insomniac 49 at Gmail. Again, that's ramblings of an Insomniac 49 at Gmail. Feel free to give me a holler and let me know what you think. Some things you like, some things you don't like, topics you feel should be discussed, whatever. I am talking about things that keep me awake, but we can talk about other stuff. Usually I'm just rambling. Lib, come on, let's go. Usually I'm just rambling along about all kinds of stuff. Again, if this is your first time, sometimes I talk about politics. Sometimes I'm talking about depression, and sometimes I'm talking about my mom and my family and addiction and relationships, dogs, whatever. Just literally the things that keep me awake. So I appreciate everybody that has been tuning in since the very beginning, and those that are somewhere in the middle, and maybe this is your very first episode. Welcome of every shape, size, color, religion, background. You are welcome here. But also know that as welcomed as you are, this podcast ain't for the faint of heart. Just be advised. Advisory warning. I get a little spicy. I definitely, I'm sure that I offend people. I'm going to assume that I have offended a lot of people. If you have thin skin, if you use phrases like safe rooms, you may not want to listen to my podcast. Maybe you do. I still suggest you listen to my podcast because I watch things like The View or watch CNN because I want to be well-rounded. I want to know what other people are talking about. I want to know other angles, other points of view. It's good to educate yourself with people you disagree with because you're not really educated if you're only hanging around just like-minded people. You're not really educated if you're just studying and being around the things that only you're interested in. Sometimes you have to, in order to be actually an educated person, you still have to know things that maybe make you uncomfortable and that you disagree with, I mean, you don't have to. I just don't feel that you're an educated person if you just know about one thing and nothing else. You don't have to like those other things. It's just good to educate yourself, get all points of view. Again, I talk about this a lot. I'm a photographer. I love macro photography. And before that, I did a lot of portraits, and I like getting all angles because things are not one-dimensional, So, oh my God, my nose is starting to go crazy and my throat every time. And then I'm panting because I'm going up that damn hill again. Okay. Anyway, okay, I got that out. So in this podcast, I genuinely do not care what background you're from. I've said this so many times, and I know, good gravy, I'm having issues. Anyway, I've said this. Sorry, I had a coughing fit for a minute. I really need to blow my nose. I'm not in an area I can. So anyway, I'm going to make this podcast short and sweet, but I feel like no matter what background you're from, you're going to be a flawed human. It doesn't matter if you're Christian, Catholic, Muslim, Jewish. It doesn't matter if you're atheist. It doesn't matter if you're short, fat, skinny, tall, whatever race you are, whatever sexual orientation, political background, whatever. Everybody can be an asshole. Everybody can be wrong. Nobody is impervious to being an asshole, And so I always say, I just don't like assholes. I don't care if you're a Republican. If you're an asshole, I'm not about it. So I say a lot of things that people may be like, it apparently, that little red-headed kid, it's like, apparently, oh my God, I love him. Anyway, it's going to seem like I don't like a lot of people. But if you listen very carefully, if you listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth, it is, I have a lot of anger and animosity and dislike for those that, again, that are violent and solve things always with hate and talking about unaliving and rejoicing in the and celebrating in the assassination of others, rejoicing in the celebrating in the assassination of someone that has a different belief than you. Yeah, that rubs me the wrong way. I dislike that greatly. So, I talk about people like that I don't like, but I really don't. Come, Lib, come. Yes, come. Good, calm, good girl. I talk a lot about those type of people. So those people come in all shapes and sizes, Evil comes in all forms. That's what makes it so damn scary. It could come in the form of a pastor. It can come in the form of, a Christian. It can come in the form of a Republican. It can come in the form of a little old lady. Evil can wear many disguises, and looks are deceiving. Ted Bundy, people thought he was okay. Apparently he was charismatic, and he looked like a nice looking guy. If you look at his eyes, I feel like his eyes say everything. But if you're just looking at him and not paying attention, so I am not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm not going to apologize. If I'm sorry, I'll say I'm sorry. But if I'm not, I'm not, Who wants I hate it when people are like, you apologize. Like, I don't think forcing an apology is necessary. Like, I get the point because you want people to be sorry. But if someone's not sorry, you're just teaching them to make empty apologies, I think instead of forcing an apology, just be like, here is why I feel you're wrong. Here's why I'm disappointed. Here's why, I'm angry. And then letting them and feel like, and say something more like, I feel you should apologize because XYZ. But forcing things is kind of difficult. But then at the same time, I'm like, look, though, if sometimes we need to be forced to do things, otherwise we just won't do them. And sometimes when we're forced to do something and we're made to get over that hump, then we're like, hot damn, like facing our fears. I had to make my horse. I know horses are not humans, but my horse was scared of this one area in the pasture and this one fence area with this other horse. And he was just being a real scaredy butt and refused to go forward. And I was like, oh, buddy, we're going forward. We're going to be here until you take at least one step forward. That's all I wanted from him. That's all I was asking from him is, look, I get that you're scared. I hear you. I get it. But I'm here. I'm going to guide you through this. We've got this. I've got your back. And here's, so we're just going to go through it. So there's a lot to be said for facing our fears and moving through it, It's all about the balance. It's all about that balance, about that balance. Speaking of all about that base, Megan Trainor, I am ecstatic that she is healthy and wants to be healthy and has taken action to make herself healthy because, people were, I'm assuming people were making fun of her weight and she owned her weight. But what I didn't like is that her and Lizzo, and a lot of people make it cool to be fat, and you're not allowed to call someone like a doctor who's in charge of your health, whose entire job it is to make sure you're healthy, is now not allowed to say that people are obese when they are. I'm not saying they have to be a dick about it, but you should be allowed to use that word because it is a term that is accurate if you are obese, And so, and your doctor should be allowed to tell you that because, hey, Lib, come. Libby, come. And So Lizzo and Meghan Trainor made songs basically being like, and did interviews and talked about how, look, I'm overweight and I'm beautiful, which is true. Because you're overweight, you're still beautiful. You know, that's good. And it's okay to be confident. I think you should be. It's amazing to be confident, but it is not good. And I totally disagree with promoting being unhealthy. And being unhealthy, being overweight is unhealthy. And that's a fact. That's not a mean thing to say. And I'm tired of this fat phobe. Anytime someone gives facts that someone doesn't like, suddenly that person is an ism or has a obia attached to it. Oh, you're phobic. You're this phobic. You're that phobic. You're an ism. You're an ist. You're a racist, a fascist, a capitalist. Oh, these ists. All of these isms and all these obias. Shut the fuck up. Cope with life. If you're fat, you're fat. I'm sorry, but that's a fact. I don't know how many pounds overweight you have to be depending on your size and if you're a man or a woman, but there is an actual thing, called obesity, and you should not be encouraged to be obese because people actually care about you and want you to live. Why would you be mad that your doctor and people want you to live? That's bizarre, right? Isn't that bizarre? It's bizarre. You shouldn't be upset that people care about you. It doesn't make them fatphobe. It makes them your doctor who has a degree, and they're trying to, and you went there to see if you're healthy, and they're like, no, in fact, you're not. And here's some ways you can be, though, because I care about you, and I'd like you to live. So here are some things. You're just fatphobe. But then suddenly Meghan Trainor and Lizzo are like skinny now. Well, not skinny. Meghan Trainor is. Lizzo's not skinny yet, but she's lost a lot of weight. And I thought that both of them were not only promoting, hey, I'm big and beautiful, but I don't need to lose weight. And if you tell me I'm fat, you're a bad person. I remember that, especially Lizzo. So I'm confused. I thought that she relished in being fat. I thought being fat was her shtick. And now suddenly she does care. And hey, that's great. Change your mind. You can change your mind. Change your mind. I'm glad she did. But that just means that we were right. And don't you kind of owe us an apology? All those people that you smack talked, all those fans and those people that you're being a real dick to and that you lied to. It's okay that you changed your mind, but maybe, be like, hey, my bad for being a real asshole to, to people that pointed out that I could lose some weight, or people that pointed out, hey, being fat isn't healthy. Please don't promote that. And you talk smack to them, and then all of a sudden you lose weight. Just saying. It's all about the hypocrisy. It's all about the hypocrisy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm going up that hill again, so you're going to hear a lot of panting. If I suddenly, you don't hear me, it means I passed out. So if you hear the phone hit the ground and you hear a thud and stuff, don't worry, it's just me passed out trying to climb this hill like it's Everest, which it's not. Damn, I have gotten out of shape. Oof. Anyway, speaking of overweight, I've tacked on about 15 pounds. And 15 pounds, people are going to go, oh, 15 pounds, really? Oh, but 15 pounds on me, I swear, you can ask anybody, swear, looks more like 30. And 30 may not sound like a lot. To me, it is. I need to get this ass. I need to climb up this a lot more because this is embarrassing. I mean, to be fair, it really is a good, consistent consistently inclines. What am I trying to say? It has an incline, and it progressively just gets more and more and more and steeper and steeper. And I'm like, whew, damn, I'm winded. Anyway, okay. Anyway, come on, girls. So, what else? Really, I don't have a lot today. I just kind of decided I was going to take these girls on a walk, and it's beautiful out, so I wanted some fresh air, and I thought, hey, podcast time. Stop. Podcast time. Da-na-na-na. Okay. But the other thing, I'm getting real real tired of. This whole like saying that Nick Shirley, first of all, he's a kid, okay? He's a man. Well, he is a man. He is an adult. We can't agree that he is an adult, but people are threatening to unalive him. People are threatening to unalive what is he, 23 or 26? I think he's 23, 24, something like that. A very young man who is simply trying to enlighten us he's trying to help America. He's trying to save money. He's trying to show people, look, there's our fraudulent things that are happening. Your taxpaying dollars are going to these fraudulent things, and I'm trying to show that to you. That is a very noble thing. This is a good thing. And the only people that would be against fraudulent people going to jail and fraudulent people not being exposed, the only people that would be pro and for criminals and promoting this fraud to go further and wanting to assassinate someone that is simply has brought the truth to light, of course, the left, because the left is reaping all the benefits from this crime. So, of course, their cash cow from all this money laundering is gone. And they're like, shit, what are we going to do about our $9 million home we just bought? What are we going to do about our homes that we bought from fraudulent money? Now we don't have that fraudulent money coming in, and this kid has exposed us. So they're going to try to assassinate him? They're going to assassinate someone's child the way they did Charlie Kirk, the way they tried with Trump, because they are such lying, power-hungry, shady criminals who only want to feed their power and feed their bank accounts. And they want to do it at the expense of American citizens. And you guys buy into it every time and think it's great. And you eat it up and you're like, yeah, give me some more of that. Give me some more fraud. And anyone that tries to expose fraud is the asshole. Tell me how that works. I'm just confused as to why Democrats can't stand when the truth comes out. Is it because they're part of the lie? They're part of the being a criminal? So they, of course, don't want that exposed. You can't have the fact that you are a fraudulent criminal that would only win votes because of the millions of illegal immigrants and the voters fraud that we have participated in. That's the it's just so frustrating. I can't get started. It gets me worked up. Why would you want to put a hit on a child because he is saying, hey, American people, I care about you. American people, I care enough to show you the fraud, the money that's being taken out of your pockets. You are having money being taken out of your pockets, and it's not okay. And here is the evidence, and people are like, so because a lot of it's coming from your party or from illegal immigrants, suddenly you don't like it? But if it was Donald Trump, we all know. We know that if Donald Trump or the Republican Party were the ones involved in all of this, that had a fake winery, that had fake daycares, holy crap, if we had fake daycare centers and we misspelled the word learning wrong and we did all of this stuff, holy mother, yeah, exactly. All right on cue. See? Libby agrees, right? What do you think? I know. See? Right on cue. Thank you. Yes. She says, hallelujah, amen. Yes. So I'm just saying that it's ridiculous, this hypocrisy, if we were to do even a fraction, just a fraction of the stuff that the left has done, just a 1/100th of the things that the left has done, my God, we'd be persecuted. We're being persecuted now and we haven't done anything. I've asked people to give me examples of something that we've done and in what way we are a cult. And all people can say is, I hate Trump. Okay. So why does that make me a cult, and what is Trump asking me to do that we are blindly following? Trump's a racist. All right. Can you give me examples of that? Trump's a fascist. Oh, okay. Do you know what fascist means? Can you give me the definition of fascist? I hate Trump. You're a transphobic, racist Nazi. Okay. How? In what way? I don't want to have this conversation anymore. I bet you don't, because you look like a jackass, and looking like a jackass on the internet isn't fun. I've looked like a jackass on the internet before. It's not fun. You know, I've looked like a jackass in public, with my family, with my friends. It's not fun. Looking like a jackass is not fun. That's why we need to all try harder as humans to not look like jackasses. We need to educate ourselves. And again, educating ourselves means not just watching only Republican news or only Democrat news or only being around white people or only reading things that are from the left or only reading things from the right, or, you know, not brushing up on history, actual history. If you're just surrounded, again, there's that saying, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And it's true. Being educated but only knowing about one thing, you're not educated. You're educated on a topic, and that's cool, but you're not very well-rounded if you're just watching the news from just your political party. Frustrating. It's frustrating, right, Libby? Or Rosie, sorry. What? Is that frustrating? It's frustrating. You didn't see, but she nodded and said, yeah, it's frustrating. So I'm just saying, all of the craziness and the nonsense going on right now and all the hypocrisy. I don't like hypocrisy from anyone's mouth. I don't like violence and bullying from anyone. So this podcast is an equal opportunity. This is true diversity, folks. This is as equal as it gets, because I throw shade at everybody. I'm like Oprah with the shade. You get some shade, you get some shade, you get some shade. Everybody gets shade. There's no one safe, you know? I think Trump can be a moron sometimes. There's times I'm like, grow the fuck up, dude. Come on. And then there's times I laugh when he's a child and I think it's funny. And he says things that I'm like, that's brilliant. I wish I had someone to say that to. Oh, good burp. Dang. I don't know if you just heard that, but that was a great burp by a dog there. Nice. Anyway, so I think that what I'm saying is we need to start educating ourselves, looking at things from all points of view, watching news that isn't just from just from us. I think, sorry, I had to take a break for a moment. I just feel like being educated and well-rounded is doing things that make us uncomfortable, watching the news on channels we wouldn't normally, listening to people that we disagree with, and just dealing with life. If we walk by someone that looks or dresses or behaves in a way we don't like, I mean, unless they're hurting someone, you know, then we just really need to just keep walking, because they have a right to wear what they want to wear. We have a right to wear what we want to wear. And it's not our business, and it's very easy. It's incredibly easy just to close our eyes or to keep walking or to scroll past or to turn off our phone, whatever. There's so many options. We don't have to bully and beat up someone because they're wearing an article of clothing we don't like. That's not what the world needs to resort to. And that's, again, promoting violence, and that has just been promoted for way too long. This violence has been going on for a long time, 10 years. I mean, aren't you tired? How do you have the energy to constantly be screaming and throwing yourselves on the ground and setting things on fire? Yeah, exactly. And just destroying everything and getting on social media and screaming at the top of your lungs. I mean, I guess if you get paid enough, like these paid protesters are getting, I suppose money talks. That's exactly why the Democrats are where they are right now. Money and power, money and power. They don't care about American people. They said it. They've proven it over and over again. It wasn't just at the State of the Union. It wasn't just then when Democrats have proved that they're not for Americans. They've proved it because they never stand for us. So that's why they don't want the illegal immigrants out of here, because they know that's all their friends. That we're getting rid of their friends, their buddies. And then they know that they're left to deal with the mess that they created. They're like, fuck, now we're left with people that don't like us very much. Shit. Now we are left with the people that we've been really awful to, and they're pretty pissed off. So crap. Because that's what Democrats do. They just walk away. They walk away. It's not face things. It's not. I said this in another podcast. I wish people would just admit when they're wrong. It's okay to be wrong. I've had to admit it. It wasn't pretty. I didn't like it, but I did it because it's the right thing to do, and because nobody is perfect. No matter what you think of yourself, you're not perfect. Democrats, Republicans, blacks, whites, Native Americans, short, fat, straight, gay, trans, none of us are perfect. Nobody's perfect. We all have been an asshole, and we're all going to be, and we're all going to just have our days. It's okay to apologize and admit that you were having a day, or that maybe you weren't educated on that topic and you were wrong. I've had to do it. It's not a big deal. It's a bigger deal when you just keep going and you double and triple down on your stupidity. People forget there's the internet and you can look shit up. That always kills me. And people are like, prove it. I know, right? When people are like, prove it. Prove it. And I'm like, do you think I got on here and said these things when I didn't have any proof? Okay, I'll prove it. And then no one apologizes. No one goes, oh, I'm sorry, my bad, I'm wrong. And they'll even say something like, give me one example, just one example. By the way, if one more person goes, I'll take things that never happened for 100, Alex, that has been said way too much. Get a new line. And just because you don't see it with your own eyes doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Hey, narcissist, not everything revolves around you. Just because you haven't experienced something, just because you haven't seen something with your eyeballs, right, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Doesn't mean other people haven't seen it. Doesn't mean other people haven't experienced those things. Just because you haven't witnessed something doesn't mean other people haven't witnessed those things. It's not about you. You're not the only people that exist. People say this to me all the time. That never happened. I didn't get on here and say something without having proof. This is the era of the internet. And then you will prove someone wrong and they won't apologize. And it's weird to me. I've apologized. I spoke out of turn and I admitted it. And then, they didn't even say thank you or anything, which is fine. You don't have to. It's just weird. Why not apologize? Especially if you said something so awful or so obscenely wrong, and people will be like, just give me one example. Just one. I dare you. I'll wait. I'll take things that never happened for 100, Alex. I'll wait. And then I'll give them like 7 examples. That always cracks me up. I kill myself when I do it. I do. I make myself laugh every time. Whenever someone, just so you know, if you do this to me, if you say, give me one example, you better fucking believe that I already got on the internet knowing people were going to say this to me. And I was prepared. I was prepared for just such a thing. And I will usually have more than one example. I like having more than one example for those idiots that think they're cool and they say things like that. Just give me one, just one example, only one, I dare you. You don't have it. Things that never happened for 100, Alex. I'll wait. That also gets annoying. I'll wait. Oh, God, how many times are you going to say that? And then I'll give them like one gal, she asked me to give 1 and I gave her 10. She was trying to claim that no one has ever wished violence upon Trump. And I was like, well, that is a really moronic thing to say. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows this is a fact. And then she was like, well, and then didn't have anything to say. And I'm like, you're right. So why would you say that no one has endorsed, condoned, encouraged violence? Sorry, my nose. But why would people say that? Why would they say they haven't endorsed, encouraged, or no one has endorsed any violence over Trump. Yeah, we all know that this is true. We all know that, yes, that has happened a lot, like many, 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 many times. So just admit you're wrong. It's okay. My God, you are not. Do you think that you are Jesus and you are just this perfect human? That's what you're saying when you don't apologize. That's what you're saying when you just can't admit you're wrong. It's weird. Anyway, that's my beef. Those are the things. Those are the things keeping me up, But on the plus side, you know what's awesome? You know what is amazeballs? You know what rocks my frickin' socks off? Y'all. Anybody that has been tuning in since the beginning, the middle, or now, I appreciate so stinking much. You are the mostestest, bestestest, and I cannot thank you enough. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor, check out my YouTube and my TikTok. I appreciate it. The more that people can listen, the better. You know what I'm saying? You can listen to it when you're trying to fall asleep. You can listen to it. Maybe terrorists use my podcast for torture. I mean, I don't want that to happen. I'm not encouraging torture. But I don't know what your reasons are. Maybe I make you laugh because I'm funny, or maybe I make you laugh because you think I'm an idiot and everything I say is just stupid. That's okay. Whatever it is that you're listening to me, maybe you're listening to me on your way to work, on your way home from work, maybe you're cleaning. I don't know what it is, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Like I said, tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell everybody. Until next time.